Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cross Creek Cut. I'm Brad Downing, and this is not Kyle Brumley because he ain't here today, but this is 6216 Bex. We're actually standing out in front here of the plot, and many of you guys clicked the link and looked this video, so we're going to discuss what's going on out in the cornfield right now. Obviously, it's not hard to see. There's some tassels. We got some silks, so corn's getting ready, or it's pollinating right now. And so the question's been, what do I do? Historically, everybody's been asking the question about fungicide and insecticide. Should I put it on? Should I not? Our stance has been for the last quite a few years, you guys have heard me talk about it, that we only want it on there when it's warranted, and we really only want to apply fungicide when we feel like it's the right timing. And for the last few years, mostly speaking, it has not been the right timing. The foliar program has been a much better ROI, and we haven't seen the leaf disease early on. Now, that's not to say we don't see it later. This year is different. Here in north central Indiana, I mean, today's the 17th of July. If many of you are from this area, you're very well aware we've had tremendous amount of rainfall. Over 300% of our normal rainfall during the month of June. We had 5 to 7 inches at one time back around June 10th. So we've had a lot of water disease. There's been a lot of issues with root growth, or early on those roots that were not necessarily having to dig down deep and find water, because let's be honest, there was plenty of water at the top 3 inches of the ground. So as we've gotten drier here and it's been hotter the last 2-3 weeks, we've really had to focus on what's this plant doing. And Kyle and myself have been walking fields looking, and yeah, there's some drought stress that's showing. But the big thing is, when you get into this drought stress and you get into this stress later on in the season, getting that tassel to emerge and getting those silks to emerge all at the same time, and basically hitting that nick right, what we call silk anthesis, has been a bit of a challenge this year. Many of you guys in Illinois to Iowa, the Western Corn Belt have not necessarily had that issue. That crop looks pretty good, and you guys have not had a lot of stresses. So you guys are pollinating pretty good. But honestly speaking, what are we doing at this point in time? So we honestly think here in north central Indiana, where we're at, we've actually put fungicide on already along with our foliar back at V10, V12, which was about 2 weeks ago. We put on a generic Quilt XL along with Exceed, Nano Brown Sugar, Draft, K-Blast, Tune-Up B. As a matter of fact, because our tissue samples we get taken every Monday, we get those back on the Tuesday. And so one day later, we're looking at what our tissue samples are, where our plant's at, what we're lacking on. And 2 weeks ago, we were lacking. We were starting to see boron drop off because of the amount of rainfall that we had and the water issue. So obviously you guys know boron is extremely water soluble. So boron was starting to come down. So we actually doubled the rate of our Tune-Up B. So we actually moved the needle and we got above about 400% higher on the next week's tissue sample. So we're still riding that wave. What we want to do is we want to be able to come out here and say, if we're fully tasseled and where you're at, we need to be able to look at putting fungicide on if you're going to plan on doing that. If you've got a lot of potential of disease pressure, along with the Exceed Nano Brown Sugar, the Draft, the K-Blast, the Tune-Up B. There might be some other things that you may need, and that's why you need to call us and find out. But we're less than a week away, if not 2 weeks away, from most people to get to that brown silk time. And I think the big thing is we got to be able to look, and I'm not going to take the time to do this, but if you guys want to be able to do this, you can pull all the leaf sheaths back without pulling the silks off, and you can actually start to see, what percent of that ear is actually pollinated. And you can pull that out, you can shake those silks out, and what fall off are pollinated, right? And which ones are not pollinated. So we really need to be, cognizant and paying attention of what the potential is. And you guys have also seen that, this amount of silks that are coming out is quite a bit longer than what we usually have seen. That's because, the rapid growth syndrome that's been happening after this rainfall. We've had high amounts of, sunshine and heat over the last couple of weeks. So the potential of that of these silks to emerge is getting higher and higher by the day, and they're elongating, which causes maybe even some of a problem. This tassel just fell on the ground here, but there's some reports out there of what's going on, and I don't want to make everybody panic or freak out about this, but there has been quite a bit of discussion about this tassel being wrapped up around the last leaf or two and being tied in there and not shedding pollen. And we are seeing some issues that, there's some fields that look like that's happening. We're not fully pollinated yet to where we can actually tell if it happened or not. But the real truth of the matter is that if you've got plants that are wrapped around that tassel and that pollen's not shedding, and you have those silks that are merged, the underside of that silk may not get pollinated unless we have some rain or some high winds to move that pollen around. So, getting the nutrient balance right is going to be one thing, but I want you to understand that if you're in that camp that, this tassel was wrapped around that leaf, there's nothing you did right or wrong. This is just a response to the stress, the rapid growth that happened after that huge amount of rainfall. And it does seem to be at, put on the time frame of that April 14th to April 18th, 20th time frame. Those planting dates seem to be when this is, some of the bigger issues. But there's an article on AgWeb if you guys want to look at that. And it's, you can learn more about that there. But we're learning a little bit more about it every day. But honestly, once we get to brown silk, and we know this ear's been completely pollinated, we are recommending you guys go out there and make that application. Exceed, Draft, K-Blast, Tune-Up B. If you have tissue samples, call us with what you're seeing. We'll kind of doctor that recipe. And if you need to put fungicide with it, we completely agree this year. We're probably we already did it once. We're going to evaluate. We may end up doing it twice, later in the season, just to see what happens with leaf disease with the amount of root, water molds that we might have got, better part of 30 to 45 days ago. So you guys got questions, or, you're looking at like, what do we do? And I don't want to spend the money on a $4 corn crop that, we're already struggling in an area to make yield. I get it. I'm in the same boat. We're living the same world. But we also know bushels is the only way we can get ourselves out of this. I can't change the market price, but I can change what I'm doing in the field and help proliferate the kind of yield that I'm expecting, or, hold on to the potential yield we still have. So you guys got those questions, call us. We're here for you. We'll Kyle, which is not here, and myself will obviously get back a hold of you, and we'll make sure we get some answers for you and help you out. So in the meantime, enjoy the plot, enjoy this weather, and if you guys need us, just call the link or the number down below and get a hold of us at Cross Creek Ag. Y'all take it easy, and we'll see you on the next Cross Creek Cut.